Hi, I'm Jatrista, and today I want to talk about this National Enquirer article about, it says, Trump exposes JFK assassination cover-up. By the way, this is a little bit old. It's a couple years old. When was this? What's the address? The November 13, 2017. So yeah, it's like 2.5 years old, but anyway, it's a piece of evidence that was leaked by Trump through the National Enquirer, and it's called Oswald Worked for CIA. The 1964 memo they didn't release. Lee Harvey trained at Japan base, how brainwashing made him a killer, and J. Edgar Hoover buried truth in FBI safe. So thought it'd be good to read this into the record, because as your sheriff, you vote for me, elect me August 4 and November 3rd, and I'll be part of the demand for the release of this information. And according to my research, all of it was supposed to have been released, I believe it was 50 years after he was assassinated. It was sealed for 50 years. Can you believe that crap? You know, there's so much in there. And in fact, according to my research, Bush Sr. was involved in the Bay of Pigs invasion, and he was involved with the assassination himself. There's a memo about that as well. You know, it was in a documentary I saw a while back. Anyway, so world exclusive. Okay, now if you say that National Enquirer, oh come on, National Enquirer doesn't have any, you know, it's just celebrity gossip. Well, guess what? You know, it's been established as part of the public record that Trump is, you know, he's buddies with the publisher of this. So don't be so gullible, Americans. You're so dumb to believe the crap that you hear. Don't, you know, but I remember seeing this in the supermarket and thinking, wow, this is a clue. And I just noticed actually that this was so-called leaked or whatever, or given to the National Enquirer publisher by Trump himself. I guess he thought he was doing us a favor to give us a crumb of truth. Trump, it says here, Trump exposes JFK assassination cover-up. So of course, he wants to make himself look like the hero, of course. So I have absolutely no doubts that this is real. This is true, at least. Okay, so I should look up this guy, investigator Stephen Jaffe. I'm gonna look him up, and maybe I'll do a little podcast on it or something. If you enjoy this, please follow my podcast or YouTube channel or Instagram, Twitter. I'm not on Facebook again yet, for the third time, because Trump deleted my account. Anyway, so and there's an associated one. Ted Cruz' father was gunman's henchman, and this is probably true as well. And this was some of the dirt that Trump. I can just read his mind. He always got dirt on his opponents, his adversaries. So at that time, he had been running against Ted Cruz for the Republican nomination, right? But So yeah, he was involved in it too. So, but I'm going to focus on this article. I don't want this to be too long. Rogue spies revenge after Oval Office cleaned house. Editor's note: Stephen Jaffe is the last surviving member of New Orleans District Attorney Jim Garrison's staff. To date, it is the only group to bring criminal charges in President John F. Kennedy's assassination. For 50 years, Stephen has worked to solve the case, remaining mostly silent. Now in a National Enquirer world exclusive, the 73-year-old renders his opinion on why Kennedy was killed and who committed the crime. I want to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it to the winds. With those words, an enraged President John F. Kennedy swore to shut down the CIA after only 4 months in office, but he also set in motion a series of events that ended up with his assassination on November 22, 1963. Earlier, the CIA had promised JFK a foolproof plan to covertly overthrow Fidel Castro. They planned to assassinate the Cuban dictator. The plan had been hatched under President Dwight D. Eisenhower, and JFK reluctantly approved it. Yeah, he had to be dragged, kicking his heels into trying to kill Castro and the CIA and Bush, who was in the CIA at the time, and he lied. He lied about that when he was running for president, that he had no. Before he was CIA director, he had no prior experience in the CIA. That's bullshit. There's pictures. There's a picture of him. Look into it. Don't believe me. Do your own freaking research. But that's the truth as far as I know it. It's a liar, a bunch of liars. They should all be in jail. And you elect me August 4th and November 3rd. And also, you can elect me as the Tucson Police Department police chief as well. Go ahead. I'll serve. Write me in. I'll do a way better job than Magnus. I'll charge those arseholes with murder who killed the officers who brutally killed a cuffed man and tased him to death. Carlos Ingram Lopez. We'll get justice for all those. So vote for me. Vote for me. Vote for me is a vote for justice. Then in April 1961, the CIA's Bay of Pigs invasion was a total and deadly disaster. JFK assumed the blame and fired CIA Director Allen Dulles and several top CIA officers. But rogue CIA elements continued training troops for another unauthorized Cuban invasion. Yeah, they were just like they've been doing this for a long time. Just do their own damn thing. More than half of our budget is spent on black ops. Our national budget was it 53%, 55, 57%? We're going to defund the CIA, defund the Pentagon, defund the military. Let's start over from scratch with those too. They just abuse their power. Bunch of cop suckers. Meanwhile, JFK contradicted his general's advice in opposing continued U.S. presence in Vietnam, ultimately issuing national security memorandum. And we shouldn't have been in Vietnam. The whole thing was a piece of horse shit. Ultimately issuing National Security Memorandum number 263, which would have effectively ended U.S. involvement in Vietnam by December 1964. JFK thus alienated those who held power. Finally, JFK told his brother Bobby and others that he planned to shutter the CIA and bring all intelligence gathering into the Defense Intelligence Agency. Wouldn't that have been nice if, he'd been allowed to succeed? Then we wouldn't have these rogue elements in our society and just ruining everything, destroying our country, running amok. Bobby would run it, the Defense Intelligence Agency. President Harry S. Truman had established the CIA to advise the president. Under JFK, it was running a secret government. If the CIA was to continue, JFK had to be removed by executive action. It's critical to understand the CIA today is totally different from the spy agency of early 1963. Today, our nation's it was started and run by over half of the Operation Paperclip Nazis that we adopted from Hitler and saved from getting justice at Nuremberg trials. Today, our nation's intelligence is gathered by 16 plus organizations operating together, no longer a policy-making arm of our government. The CIA works with the military to keep America secure. Wow, I'm sure that's what they really do. Way to put a band-aid on the problem. After firing the CIA's top officers and terminating its plans to overthrow Castro, JFK sealed his death warrant. He didn't seal his death warrant. It was a fucking military coup, and they never got thrown in jail. All those Bushes, we need to throw them in jail, and Kissinger too, of course. You know, chuck them in, and Obama as well. The drones and those. He's just Kissinger's toy. And maybe he was born in Kenya. How much you want to bet? I mean, like, that's what Trump found out. That he was right all the time about the birthers. Okay, so after firing the CIA's top officers and terminating its plans to overthrow Castro, JFK sealed his death warrant. Power in the CIA was controlled by a few individuals, some of whom JFK had already terminated. Our top spies acted with support from JFK's many enemies, and a plan was put in motion that resulted in Dallas. In those days, if the CIA needed a hit, it hired professionals, often from the mafia. It hired professionals often from the mafia. Wow. Needed a hit. What a loaded statement. It's like, what the fuck is our country doing without our permission? Just like doing whatever the hell they want to. There's no accountability whatsoever. They're just impunity. And it's been since the JFK assassination. It's never been all right. Never been all right. Never recovered our country. We need truth now. And you vote for me and elect me, Trista. You can just write in Trista, Trista. And guess what? We're going to lock them all up. It's going to be great. We're going to be partying in the streets. It's going to be really neat. We're going to have truth and justice. So, according to CIA operatives Marita Lawrence and Gerald Patrick Hemming, some of the hit team assassins were CIA-trained paramilitary who had been involved in the anti-Castro attacks. Documents showed Lee Harvey Oswald was already working for the CIA and was a confidential informant for the FBI. So he's just like that's real deep state. He had been moved to New Orleans and then Dallas after renouncing his U.S. citizenship while in the Soviet Union. He was the perfect patsy. The fact that his Marine Corps record showed him to be a very poor shot didn't matter. So, and they're still trying to ram this horseshit down our throats about the lone shooter. Ah! 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 Two CIA operatives, Frank Sturgis and E. Howard Hunt, later convicted in the Watergate burglary. So they were still using him Nixon was using him during the Watergate burglary. Think Nixon didn't know their backgrounds? To me, that shows that Nixon was involved as well. We're part of the Dallas hit team. Wow. To me, that's kind of a smoking gun piece of information. Nixon was in on it as well, and in 1966, CIA Director Richard Helms and Counterintelligence Chief James J. Angleton initialed a CIA memo stating they would require a plausible denial for Hunt's presence in Dallas on November 22nd, 1963 by Stephen Jaffe. So this guy worked in the New Orleans with the district attorney Jim Garrison's staff. Last surviving member. The only group, but a bunch of Bushes are still alive. So that's why the information hasn't been released to us, because these bushes are still alive, and they're preventing us from having this information. So you vote for me, Trista, Jad Trista. I changed my name in honor of the BLM. And you vote for me, Jad Trista, November 3rd and August 4th. And guess what, sweeties? We're going to lock them all up, and we're going to make America safe again. And we're going to drain the swamp for reals.